Same thing, it wasn't on that, but it was the kind of thing where I all of a sudden realized what he was trying, he wasn't
All right,
trying
I'd
to
like
be
to
a jerk.
call this afternoon's meeting of Planning, Environmental Management, and Real Property Committee to order. I'll ask everyone to join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Annie, if you'll commence with roll call.
Mr. Sorensen.
Here.
Mr. Steingart.
Here.
Mrs. Geiger.
Here.
Mr. Benson.
Here.
Mrs. Edwards.
Here.
Okay, I am going to go right to the resolutions, and then we are also going to have two brief discussion items followed by two additional resolutions that are needed. So under planning, our first resolution is to authorize an award and execution of a contract with Barton LaJudas.
Motion.
Second on the motion? Ira? Okay. This resolution, the purpose of this, if you recall, a few months ago we talked about providing some additional resources to the planning division to help us gear up for the CFA, the Consolidated Funding Application. It's gone. We had a number of responders, and there were interviews that were conducted, and the panel has selected Barton LaJudas to work with us. So if there's
And they're certainly well-known and well-respected, so I don't know how many applicants did you have, Alan, do you remember? Six, okay.
Yeah.
Alan, I don't
Yeah.
understand what it means when it says unbudgeted revenue to be received, grant administration.
It's on the first page of the resolution.
The source of funds.
That's the grant.
Right here.
Where am I missing?
Right here.
That was revised from what I submitted, so I would assume Janet would have an answer to that.
Janet. Let me go
Should
get
I
her.
go get her? I mean, I think it could be anticipated that if we apply for grants, that
There will be
any
administrative
administration dollars would
correct.
pay for it.
That's my
But if we
assumption from
don't
the way I read it.
apply for it, so
A
let me.
lot of times the grants won't allow you to do it in retrospect.
Thanks.
So you have to only apply for grants that will allow that if you hire them before the grant application's been submitted.
Right. My understanding going into this was we had two vacancies in planning, so the vacancy variance, basically the difference of what we haven't spent, would be funding this. So.
Right, I had originally put in there that it would be out of the personnel budget line from the lack of the paying of salaries from the vacant positions, but Janet has since edited that, so I apologize, I don't know what I mean.
Hi, Janet.
Come on, take a seat.
I don't even have any papers now.
You don't have any papers? Arrest him. The papers are not in order.
It's the Barton LaJudas contract. And it's.
We had
This
anticipated
was
coming out
the-
of personnel lines, but you've revised it to say unbudgeted
You just had a
revenue.
question on this. Why is it?
What does that mean?
What does that
Contract is a
mean?
401. Because the appropriation itself is budgeted, but it's not gonna come out of personnel. It
Right.
wouldn't come out of a personnel line, but there's anticipated monies to be received, which is not in the budget at this point, and that will be what will cover the funding for the 15,000.
So it's not coming out of contingency?
No. No, it's funding that hasn't been received yet.
And it's coming from, so can you be a little bit more specific as to where it's coming from? If you can be.
Isn't funding, my understanding going into this, however, there's also funding from having the vacancies in the planning position. So there are two vacancies in planning.
Yeah, there is monies available
So we've
there.
gone 3 months without paying those salaries and benefits.
So
So that was also,
That money would be a modification into the contract agency line to then pay for it. That's what my understanding
yeah, I thought we
was.
were gonna have a budget modification.
Yeah, but when I was talking, who was I talking about? I was talking to Josh about it, and I thought that there was actually more monies anticipated to cover for the cost with the
There
grant.
is, but I think Cora's point is if, let's say they work on a grant application between now and June,
Uh-huh.
and then the grant is funded, none of those funds for administration could be used to pay for the preparation of the grant. It could be used for the administration of the grant, but not for the preparation.
Oh,
Or
okay.
could it
Unless
come
it's
from
a very
revenue?
unusual grant specification, very rarely will you find that that kind of retroactive payment is available.
Unless
So-
it's revenue that we've put forward from, from current administered grants that we're getting reimbursed for. So that revenue that would come back in.
I mean,
Even though
you
it's
are correct that there would be funds
expended
available there
already.
if we need them, if we found that we needed it.
Yeah,
But,
I think that's my understanding. I think we're going to need it for any work that happens between now and, the grants are filed.
Okay.
So it's just a clarification really, but.
Point one over, so it still wouldn't be out of contingency as Janet said.
No, it still wouldn't be out of
It'd be money that was already
contingency, yeah.
budgeted, but you're moving it from
Yeah.
your point one to your point four, so it could be a contractual expense.
So could we just change that instead of saying unbudgeted revenue to reflect more accurately what's actually going on?
I could still put it as no in pending budget modification.
That's
Just put in there.
That's what we need to say, okay.
I don't want to specifically say salaries, but we can say pending budget
It doesn't,
modification.
whatever you feel comfortable with, I just want, a better sense of accuracy,
Okay.
because I don't want to go
Okay,
down
'cause I
the
had
slippery
talked
slope of
to-
unexpected revenue or unbudgeted.
I'm just gonna put pending budget modification.
Sure, yeah. pending budget
Janet, thank you.
modification.
Sorry to have you put on the
Yep.
spot like
No,
that.
that's okay.
Good job.
Okay, do we need to amend that?
No.
All right.
Mm-mm.
All right, I had a first and a second, I
Right.
lost track.
More question?
Okay, with that clarification, I'd like to call a question on the resolution. All those in favor? Anyone opposed?
5-0.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry.
Cora,
the
thank
oth-
you.
Oh, you're welcome. It is,
It's important to have that clarified.
the other thing was that I think I said this, and I can never say it enough, is that in the contract specifications, we do have the CFA, because my understanding from the previous time when we had the previous economic development team, that they were going to actually provide work toward CFA proposals, and I really would like to see that as a deliverable with this particular contract, because I've seen, what's that saying, what can slip twixt cup and lip? We say something on a resolution and then it doesn't make it to the contract. And it's not even
Wait.
stated in the resolution, but I would like to see it in the contract. That actual preparation for CFA submissions is part of
Yeah,
the work.
I would invite you to review the contract with planning and myself and with Sam before it's signed, and then we can.
Thank you for the invitation, I accept.
Yeah, more eyes looking at it, the better. That's it.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay.
I'd like to make a motion to move 2 through 13 as one.
Okay, these are all correction of errors. All, second on the motion, Ira? All those in favor?
5-0.
Okay, thank you. Now, I guess I'll start with, Ed, I'll start with you. We have a handout resolution.
Resolution to correct the tax roll, 2014 tax roll.
Okay.
For a parcel of land in the town of Thompson. I do have copies of it here.
Okay, if you could pass that out.
Welcome, Ed.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Oh, you're just saying
This is for,
that. Thank you.
I'm saying it for a reason.
No, I mean, Ed's just saying thank you.
I have,
He doesn't want to be here. I don't blame him.
there's a few that way. Concerning the Sullivan Diagnostic Treatment Center.
Oh, okay. All right, I'll just give my colleagues 1 minute to read through it real quick. It's.
Yeah, there's no county impact on this.
Well, in that case,
Yeah.
I'll move it.
As a
Just
second.
a correction.
Ira?
Yeah, Ed.
All those, discussion? All right, all those in favor? Okay.
5-0.
Thank you.
Somebody forgot to read a water meter someplace.
It wasn't in the town of Fallsburg.
No, I shouldn't say that. I know who
Okay.
reads the meters in Fallsburg, we're good to go.
I've asked, I spoke earlier this morning with Nancy DeGraw. Apparently there's a grant through the Robert Woods Johnson Foundation that is available. And I believe Ethan is working on that with her. So Ethan, if you could just give us an update, brief overview of the purpose.
It's sort of an emerging opportunity or a unique opportunity that Nancy brought to our attention in planning. And I have some copies of the, would you like me to hand out the summary?
Yeah.
Please.
Because they have a very short lead time on their stuff, don't
You. That's why I'm here.
they? And Grants Administration know all about this?
Grants is a little out of pocket this week for personal and family reason, but that's why we, in speaking to Nancy, we wanted to bring it to the committee's attention to see if we could continue to pursue it for the next week and consider submitting a pre-application or a brief proposal by April 2nd. The opportunity just became known in February, and the training was only last week. But basically, the project is called the Health Impact Project. It's a nationwide effort of the Pew Trust and Robert Wood Johnson Foundation, where they're inviting proposals for communities to seek grants of money and technical assistance to conduct health impact analyses, which is it's a methodology that they've researched and developed. It's somewhat unique, and it looks at any number of policies or projects through the lens of public health, not the things not traditionally about health. So it wouldn't study a medical or a medical condition, but it might study an infrastructure project or a policy for its impact on health. So Nancy and planning have been speaking about some opportunities to use this project to address the food system challenges and obesity and the poor health outcomes in Sullivan County reported through the Robert Wood Johnson nationwide county health report cards. So exploring ways to connect community residents to better access to healthy foods and education about nutrition and healthy lifestyles. And we could focus on emerging projects and policies through the county, like the development of the food hub, the recommendations coming out of the Agriculture and Farmland Protection Plan, and then, sort of drilling down or zooming out through like strategies in the Economic Development Plan that have to do with agriculture and healthcare. So I think Nancy sees this as an opportunity if we were invited to submit a full proposal to look at how these developments within the county can really be leveraged to improve the delivery of healthy food, nutrition programs to address obesity, and leverage these.
Is there a county match, for argument's sake? if we?
$100,000.
This program, we'd be applying under the demonstration
Okay.
projects, which have no match required.
So that's grants will be up to 100,000?
Yes.
Okay, so we're crossing out number 2.
Uh,
Have you considered the possibility of looking at the assistance with the farm bill? They're doing that program where if you have an EBT card, you can go to a farmer's market and use it for healthy food, and what that terminology of food deserts, I mean, is that?
Right, so I think Nancy raises issues like the food desert. We have designated food deserts here. There is some use of the EBT programs with the farmers markets, I believe, but it would be really looking at all those elements and how do you maximize the benefits and the impacts of the food hub, of the farmers' productions that we have here, of programs in the schools to get better outcomes. Because as we know,
Ethan, I think when Nancy and I had discussed it initially, and she was thinking, being that the food hub concept and trying to get local food in the local schools,
right.
she was trying to drill down and see where that would fit in.
Mm-hmm. So that would be the kind of, through a method like this, that would be one of the developments that you would study and look at how how to sort of if that's a desired benefit of the food hub, how do you maximize, what are the policies you put in place to help make that happen? Or what would be the barriers to making that happen?
And this requirement that you have completed one high-quality, successful health impact, is that a qualification as well?
That's for the tier 2 grants that
Okay,
we've been
so
applying for.
these two don't
Right.
apply.
We are it's a long shot. There are only 6 of these granted around the country, but they say New York State is one of the priority states. And they do say if you apply and you're not successful, we are interested to work with your community.
You're in New Jersey, right?
Robert Wood Johnson, I think, is based in Princeton, New Jersey. Yeah.
If there's no match and it's, like the outreach into the schools with local food, I'm all for that. So
But
I
here-
don't see a downside. And
if we
ours is
go to
gonna be-
this-
Grants administration would be, writing the grant?
I think, I don't know, I can't commit them to that. I was offering work on that with Nancy.
But we would
Okay.
still want
According to
to
this,
go
there's about
through-
3 weeks to do this.
But wait,
Nancy
there's
thought
also.
they could do this. get
It's
this
the
done.
pre-application.
I'm just
Okay,
saying.
so it says applicant,
Just a
additional
letter.
eligibility criteria for program
Is it?
grant
Okay.
applicants. The first bullet point under there says, program
Yeah.
grantees must provide
not
a
us.
minimum of 100,000 in matching funds.
Yeah, there's 2 categories of grants. It's a demonstration grant and a program grant. So those are that should be a capital P program grant, but we're not applying for a program grant. We're applying for demonstration grant, which has no match.
That's what you, yeah, but the way this reads, I just want to make sure that in the fine print,
Yep.
it's a straight grant without any,
We'll certainly confirm that
Share.
again and again, but at the top,
just-
it says demonstration projects, up to 6 demonstration projects would be awarded, 100,000 each. So we're in it, they're not capitalizing the 2 programs. We would apply under a demonstration project, not a program.
That was what Nancy made pretty clear, so we could double check on that too.
well, okay, if you go to the second paragraph, it says up to 5 program, this is not the one you're doing, but
Right.
up to 5 program grants will be awarded. Grants will be up to 250,000 each and must be completed within 24 months. Program grants must provide an additional 100,000
But
in
we're
matching
not
funds.
doing the program grant.
No, but then you go down to additional eligibility criteria. So what they're saying is, in addition to that 250, that's 100,000. This is saying, the way I'm reading it, and that's why I want to make sure that if I'm making a mistake, I stand corrected, that if you're going for the demonstration grant, program grantees must provide a minimum of 100,000, not an additional 100,000.
And that's how I read it too originally.
It is saying program on the headline. Program.
Yeah, under additional for program grant applicants.
I think that it should have
Okay,
been
not for
capitalized.
And we had
Not
some
for
confusion.
demonstration.
Yeah, we had some confusion
Two
over that
totally
too.
different
which
Okay,
is
as
why
long
we
as you
didn't-
straighten that out.
We
Yeah,
didn't
I
move,
already
we didn't move on it
discussed that.
faster, and then we did the webinar training on it last Wednesday, and they confirmed that we would fit in the first category.
Well, it's just.
And Nancy had mentioned
Okay.
So who would be the program manager if this was awarded? Who would see it through completion?
I believe it would be Public Health Services.
But this is a pre-application
Yeah.
that you're, okay.
It's pre-application,
Right.
and that'll determine whether we're even
Right.
invited
Right.
to submit a full application. I think the proposal, it's a good opportunity. I think it's something that's certainly needed here in the county. And I'm thinking we should, try.
Absolutely, I agree with
Yeah.
you.
So,
We need it,
Yeah.
given where our rankings are everywhere.
yeah.
Well, this is the same, Robert Wood Johnson Foundation who's one of the partners here, is a partner on the county health rankings with the University of Wisconsin.
So as a result,
So
let's
they
say
should
we get
put
it,
us in.
we get the grant, we do it, we're wonderful, we've completed the grant. What do we show for our labors? What's the desired outcome?
I don't know, it will be an HIA, and they're encouraging, these 2 foundations are encouraging the use of HIAs, or health impact assessments, around the country as a way to really direct policy in a concrete way. I haven't gone through one, so I can't vouch for it, but it's supposed to have sort of concrete outcomes in terms of recommendations that will improve health.
Well,
of the
Larissa
community.
came last year with this very same grant. Do you remember? She
Oh, really?
wanted us to do on the whole fracking thing. Cindy, you remember?
Yeah, I don't know
And
if it was the same one, I can't say, but.
It was a health impact assessment from Robert Boots Johnson.
And did they pursue an application?
I think what she ended up doing was having their partner be the lead agency, and Sullivan County would be the beneficiary, but they didn't get the grant. So I would suggest that you talk to her since they've been there, done that.
Okay. I like to focus on healthy eating.
But well, now I'm reserving my
Go
comment.
ahead.
Isn't it a shame, put your pen down, but isn't it a shame we have to now teach our children how to have healthy
There's a
eating? I mean,
pencil there.
doesn't that stuff all start at home? I mean, the
We
thing
need
is.
the offerings in the school.
I know, but in this year, but the kids are sent to school by their parents. I mean, it's just, to me, it's a shame that our children are obese, okay, number one, but I'm gonna stop there because I'm on tape,
But to
so.
get natural products in the school, which the discussion I had with Nancy McGraw was that's basically her goal. Hopefully, this grant will move that a step forward to address nutritional problems in the school with local products, so. it's,
I think to compound what Cindy is saying, if you look at a lot of kids that go to school, they get the breakfast program and the free lunch program. And unfortunately, many kids in this county need those things. And the other piece that's unfortunate with that, I don't know how the school budgets for that, so maybe they are not giving the most nutritious, I don't know. But that might be a piece of this puzzle. Instead of getting an apple or a piece of fruit, maybe they're getting French toast that's loaded with syrup. You know, I mean, that is a possibility. I don't know that to be true, but this health assessment would help define some of that and bring the foods that they need that are nutritious for them in there.
I thought there was an article recently about they were taking, like, I don't know, the soda machines out of the schools, or the chips and stuff, fattening stuff. So I mean, along that line, I get it. The kids have to eat, and you're right, they should be eating healthy stuff. I get all that, but it just disturbs me that we have to have this conversation that our children are obese because of the food that they're eating every day. Now we have to teach them at school how to eat healthy food.
Well, I think it's
Children
it's a
are
matter
obese
of
because they eat too much. Where are their parents?
providing.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I said it in public safety, I'll say it again. The parents have to get involved as well. We're not everybody's mommy and daddy.
I do just want to say that the work that Nancy McGraw has done through public health.
Yes, and I'm a Democrat.
I know several of our schools have gotten awards. I think up in Kitty's district, Roscoe School got an award for smoothies, doing fruit and yogurts and things, so,
Schools
you
are
know.
putting in the community.
Yeah.
Right, they changed it all.
Enough
I
of
know
this
they changed
political
the way
correctness
they,
bullshit.
right.
This work so far, and she's trying to do more.
Did you get that?
So this is-
Yeah, I'll just.
I get it. Oh.
Sorry.
Gene, just to follow up on what you said, it's very timely. I mean, I think this is a good program, and I think we should try to do it. But on the education part in school, Gene, just to echo your sentiments, my daughter loves salmon, but she came home last night and said, "Daddy, I can't eat salmon anymore because our teacher just told us that all the fish is
I
poisoned
know,
with
that's
mercury
what yeah.
and radiation."
No, he's
I'm like, it's
yeah.
one of the healthiest fishes you can eat.
My daughter told me the
As
same
long as
thing.
it's
Yeah.
wild caught.
It's like, so I'll be sending a note to the teacher.
You should. No, that's yeah.
Give them a little education.
But you know, the piece that you're missing
Don't eat
is
I-
that was after
I understand. I had
somebody had
salmon for
salmon
dinner
every
with
single day. For, they did studies, but this animal, it's not just if you have it a couple times. That's a long period of time. Because my daughter said, "I can't eat fish anymore." I said, "Are you nuts?"
Now it's got to watch what they're educating the kids.
Well, somebody's got to
And we love
educate the
teachers.
educators. Only this time of the year, right?
We could go off
Oh,
for
yeah, that's
hours
right.
on this, but
To the budget. Oh yeah, go ahead.
yeah. All right. So we don't have a resolution ready. You'll need a resolution to proceed. So there's two ways we can do this. I can either recess and then introduce a resolution, or Scott's not here.
Put it in executive?
Or we can go.
Put it in executive.
Can we
yeah.
put it in executive?
Yeah.
Everyone?
Don't you need it
You
by
want one?
April 2nd?
Well, that's the whole point. We got about
Scott,
3
there he
weeks.
is.
We need you in here, honey.
Join us.
Join us,
Can we put a
please.
resolution on your committee next week? It's time sensitive. please?
About fat
Sim-
kids.
What is it?
It's, go ahead, Alan.
To enable us to apply for a grant through the Robert Woods Johnson Foundation to encourage people to eat healthy.
It's simple.
To what?
Encourage them to eat healthy.
Just say yes.
Just
and
say
go.
yes.
Just say yes and go.
Say yes.
Well, you could stay because there's two others.
Sure.
Annie, do I have room on the agenda at this point? Yeah, all right.
Thank you. That was easy.
Annie will make the room.
I just need that resolution by 12 noon on Tuesday. Will not accept it a minute
The
after.
transportation.
And she's serious.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. All right, I'm gonna let you.
Clock is running.
Okay.
I'll let you leave it. All right, I'm now going to turn it over to Jill because we still have two other items. We have
Right.
a transportation grant. We have RBAG and RBOG.
Yep, the RBOG for transportation that we were awarded last year, Ethan has been moving that project forward. They conducted interviews last Friday and Monday this week of the 5 respondents they got from the RFP for the transportation consultant. So,
Is that the 75,000
that
for
is
the study?
Yep. So we would like to enter into contract with the consultant this month so we can get that project moving. It's been narrowed down to 2, unless Ethan corrects me that we have finalized one. So our hope is by Tuesday, executive, that we will have the firms. So
Tomorrow,
yeah.
just checking references.
so one firm is out of Colorado and one firm is out of
Texas. The Colorado one is a New York partner, but they've both done a lot of work and were highly recommended in New York State.
and they do a lot of rural work and
And they haven't been, okay, so they're not flying in from Texas to do this. They, like you're doing other stuff in the city, right? I take it? I mean,
They both have other contracts in New York State and
Okay.
were recommended by our.
Okay.
Are you worried about them having to get a flight every time they want to?
They all flew here for the interview.
see?
Yeah,
Where'd they
they-
fly into? Sullivan County Airport? Say yes.
Oh, we could require
so
Which is on the bus that they come on. We can arrange that.
so that would be one for
No, I
executive
just-
next week.
I just had a question maybe for Ethan or Jill. Is this the most comprehensive study that the county's done on transportation? Have we done anything before?
We have a 2004 plan that was not adopted, and this one we're hoping that will not only look at the social services side, but also look at our workforce side and kind of merge and look at a whole holistic approach.
Okay, so it's basically taking all the transportation that's available in the county, looking at the gaps and trying to improve what's needed.
Consolidation or getting them to partner together so that, you know, resources can be shared. So that is one.
Okay.
So that would be for executive next week. And then the second one is, I mentioned it last month, the RBAG, USDA RBAG grant opportunity is released as much as the USDA releases information. But we've been told that the REAP set aside for the RBAG is significant. There's no actual dollar amount, but this is a great opportunity since we are the REAP zone to apply for funding. We do know that the IDA is going to apply for the $100,000 gap that they have in their food hub project. But we would like to put in another application to get additional funds. So our hope is to possibly apply for an RBAG to further extend the MAP program that we did last year, the Micro Enterprise Assistance Program. We can't use the RBAG for a grant program, but we can use it as a creative loan program. And so our hope is maybe a really low interest loan, 25% forgivable, some sort of aspect that would be similar to the MAP, since we have that foundation and groundwork of paperwork, but that it would be more of a loan. And so that this way, we wouldn't have the task of doing all the grant administration, doing the reimbursement and funding and disbursement requests, that we would have the applicants go through the entrepreneurial training program, get a business plan, get that reviewed and vetted through the revolving loan committee, and then do one disbursement of a loan up front, similar to our other revolving loan fund programs. So
Basically, it's just a streamlining of the process.
right, so but it's not a grant.
Right,
It
I
would be a
understand.
loan that they would have to pay back. But we would have creative terms of low interest and possibly a forgiving aspect or any other creative terms. So
just
we
looking to
would look
put it
to
on.
So
apply.
tell Scott, since he missed your meeting, we'll put 3 resolutions on the
on.
executive for next week.
It's consensus, right? It's a good opportunity. It's,
And the deadline is March 31st.
So it is written, so it shall be.
okay, it's,
When are we gonna take our RDA money?
What? No,
Well,
no,
we're not taking our
that is the
RDA.
priority.
We're close to getting it done.
Right, no, the priority is the food hub because that is the funding gap and would be a no-brainer to get.
so I guess, I gotta give thanks to the congressman for getting the REAP zone set aside. Congressman Gibson
He did a good job.
Right,
for getting
getting the
that
farm bill.
reauthorization and refunded. It's,
He definitely worked for
That is
this
good.
county.
now, all right, so, yeah, I take it then the IDA is gonna be applying for RBEG as well, for,
Yep, right, I read.
all right, you wanna
Jen
brief us on that?
Jen and Todd are applying, you're putting an application.
Yes, we're putting an application. With the CFA process, we were short $100,000 to complete the project. So that's our gap. So when we became aware of this, we're gonna put in an application.
Okay.
And again, for the CFA, again, to shame them.
And again, they keep using this term significant, and last year it was 300,000 for the REAP zones in New York, so if this is now significant compared to that, we should be okay if we go for
Yeah.
200 and you go for 100.
Well, we both got last year also.
Right,
Right.
right, because
So-
Tioga didn't apply.
Is our bog in this round too?
Arbog would be later,
Oh.
would be next month or 2 months, so.
I think, for next month, let's see what funding is available once we have a better idea, and then take a look at it in the context of, the overall kind of projects. Maybe something else we can apply for without impacting, what the IDA needs.
So the Arbog does have a deadline of March 31st.
Oh, okay.
Arbeg, sorry.
Arbeg.
Arbeg has a deadline of March 31st, so.
Okay, so you have your
If
two
we want to put in for
applications.
those,
Okay.
but we would come back if, we haven't looked at our bonds.
Okay, I'm closing my eyes so I remember, it's Transportation Alternatives Program is also out, which is through New York State DOT. So I've been hearing perhaps there's a not-for-profit in the county that may be applying for rail trails, I don't know, but that's the funding source. But I think I would like planning just to, report back next month in terms of potential projects that we might be able to apply for.
Okay.
So maybe something in one of the villages, we do sidewalks, you can do trails. So it's a good funding source. Okay. Any comments from my colleagues? Have I missed anyone? Public comment? Wow. Okay, motion to adjourn. Thank you.